Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and thank you all so much for joining us for our May Sip and Pitch Friday. My name is Carly Specht. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm Associate Director of Affiliate Relations and External Affairs here at the NGLCC. Before we get into the rules and guidelines for today's program, I'm excited to introduce our three incredible judges that we have here with us today. We have Adam Murphy from Jury Solutions Legal, Sandy Cross from PGA of America, and Christina Gulish from Boston Scientific. Thank you all so much for being here. Now I'm going to go over some rules and guidelines for the presentations. First, each company will have 5 minutes to pitch. I'll have a timer up on my screen that will count down during each presentation, and then I will also unmute myself to remind presenters when they have 30 seconds left. Next, we'll have just one presenter from each participating company, and after, judges will have up to 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A. If presenters don't have a PowerPoint presentation, no problem. This program is designed to be informal to provide real-time feedback for companies' pitches. And a reminder to everyone to please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. And this is a judgment-free zone. This program is designed to help everyone enhance their pitch and grow their businesses. So of course, all feedback is shared in the spirit of collaboration. And lastly, and most importantly, have fun. Feel free to grab a beverage of your choice and enjoy this last Friday of the month. Now we will go ahead and get started with our first pitch. So first up, we have Kathleen from Facilities Partners and Solutions. Kathleen, you can start sharing your screen whenever you're ready. And then you can get started anytime you're ready. And once you get started, I'll start the timer.
Thank you, Carly. So good afternoon and happy Friday. I am Kathleen Waters, President and CEO of Facility Partners and Solutions, and I'm here to tell you why you should do business with FPS. So we are a commercial janitorial company, and our goal is multifaceted, but first we're going to take you from this to this. And how we do that successfully is that we focus on our employees. We are founded in being able to provide opportunity. We're committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, but we're very, very focused on providing our employees value in what they do with the job, which in turn provides us the opportunity to provide a good service to our clients. So we are a self-performing model for commercial janitorial, and we can do vendor management across soft services. I have more than 25 years experience in facilities. I had the opportunity to start my own company, and I jumped at it because I know it's important that the people that are in this industry, it's important that they are seen, that they are valued, and that they feel that they can provide something when they come to work, which is the culture that we've been able to create for them. Our value proposition for our clients is to provide a worry-free solutions program so you can focus on what is important to you in your day. You hire a janitorial company to clean the toilets, you should not need to worry about that, or how much dust there is, or what your floors look like. We're able to provide a unique solution to each one of our clients based on our experiences, our processes, and our technology. We are obviously a labor-driven business, which is why we focus so much on our people. Our why? Bringing value, visibility, and dignity to our workforce. Take your headaches away and to be your partner. And we do that through our core values, through empowerment, ethical practices, inclusion, collaboration, communication, transparency, integrity, and value. I think we really are disrupting the delivery of soft services and predominantly janitorial services because we drive the focus with our employees. They are empowered to do their job. And it honestly makes great business sense because if we can enhance our employees' experience, it's going to enhance your experience. We're going to have retention and be able to provide a better service. We're also very agile. We understand things change. We are large enough, but small enough. and our clients have full access to me to be able to bounce off things that they need for any kind of goals that they have or any kind of initiatives that have come up. Safety first is very important in our industry. I grew up in facilities and life sciences. The other thing is, I think it's very important that our employees understand why they're doing their job. So, say in higher education, they're doing their job because the students need a better experience. If we're in a manufacturing, their job is important so that the product goes out. If it is in an airport, their job is important to have the best type of passenger experience. So, and we do that through communication, but we also build work schedules and job tasks, and we give our employees the right tools for them to be successful. And a lot of that goes through our process of onboarding safety. We empower our employees to stop the job if they don't feel safe. And we also institute a good catch program, which helps our clients have more sets of eyes in their facilities to make sure that everything is safe within their facilities.
30 seconds.
Why does this matter? Because there's really an ugly side to the janitorial company business. Chemicals. If you don't do it right, you can find yourself dead. A lot of our employees work at night. They need to feel that they're safe and that their employer cares about them. The thing that really got me was there was a janitor that was had a cardiac arrest. They didn't find her for 4 days. So that really makes a difference to me that you take care of your employees. These are all the services that we have. This is where we are. Those are the industries. And
Thank you so much, Kathleen. Great job.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Those 5 minutes are tight. Great
Woo, they're
job.
tight.
All right, I am going to turn it over to the judges for some feedback. And Adam, I will start with you.
I thought it was really good. I know 5 minutes is tough to get everything that your company does in one pitch, but I think you did a pretty good job with that. Um, it was really interesting. I don't know much about honestly the industry and like kind of the model. One thing you mentioned at the beginning, what is a self-performing model? What does that mean?
So we have our employees doing the work as opposed to going out and subcontracting other people. So
Okay.
our core business is to have our W-2s.
Okay.
So
That makes sense. And then one of the questions I had, and I think you may have, with more time, could have gotten into it more. You mentioned doing more like for employee morale and employee engagement. Like can you give some examples? Like what kind of stuff do you do to kind of increase, morale and engagement with your employees?
So we have our supervisors. We call out employees for compliments. We have some sites that have an employee of the month, and it's recognized within the people that are working. But it's also making sure that our employees hear about the things that they do well.
Yeah.
And we encourage on an ongoing basis for employees to feed back to us. They're the ones that know what's going on out there, and we want to make sure that we listen to them as well. We have gift cards, we have other things that we do, and we try to do monthly team building.
I really like it. I really like that idea and that part of your pitch. And the other thing that I think resonated a lot was the way you kind of incorporate like what they're doing into like the mission of what your customer is doing. So like as part of, if they're, working in a factory, it's like part of the products, schooling. I really thought that was really good and impactful and like, kind of bringing it all together. But I thought it was a really good pitch overall.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you so much, Adam. Sandy, do you want to go next?
Sure, Carly, thanks so much. And Kathleen, yes, very difficult to do in 5 minutes. So kudos. I'm just going to go through my notes. These are in no particular order. They're just as I wrote them down as you were speaking. Personally, I don't think you need the why you need to do business with us up front.
Okay.
You're obviously at a table with a prospect, like they know you're there to earn their business. So I wouldn't necessarily open with that. You talked about good service. if I'm in the market for these services, I want like great service or exceptional service or exemplary service. So just think about the language choices.
Okay.
Although I oversee the facilities here at PJ Frisco as part of my purview, I was not familiar with the term of soft services. So just maybe think about that in your pitch. Your customer
Okay.
may or may not be familiar with that. I think the deck is really good, but obviously it's better suited for a long form presentation where you've got a bunch of time with the prospect. Because for today, it was just super text heavy. I found myself trying to listen to you while trying to read, and I was getting distracted. So,
Okay.
I love the values content. I am very values based, values centric. That resonates with me. You might want to consider pulling the values piece like forward into your pitch, because so much of what you talked about really was values rooted. It seems to anchor your whole company. And you talked so much about the employee focus, almost a little too much. So think about,
Okay.
do you want to put all the values and all the employee centric stuff up front? Anchor your presentation in that, but then really start to focus on the customer. I felt like there was a continual going back to your employees, our employees. Here's what we do for our employees, which is a great business model. I mean, that's a page out of the Southwest Airlines playbook. So kudos on that. But I'd hit that up front and then really get into the customer centric focus. The agility is awesome, and the accessibility to you and your leadership team, huge selling point. That's really, really important. And then just lastly, so I think it was excellent too, like Adam said, I would just kind of work on the story arc, the narrative. So that's my feedback. Thanks, Kathleen.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks so much, Sandy. Christina, do you want to finish this off?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good feedback so far. So, Kathleen, I think you did an excellent job. I know it's hard to get all of this in 5 minutes, and just a couple questions. And to be transparent, I'm also not as familiar in the facilities industry. So, like Sandy said, I've heard of soft services, but I found myself trying to educate myself and reading into the slides a little bit. So. I guess, like Sandy said, maybe keep that in mind with your audience. Not everyone's aware of that. So I had a couple questions that I jotted down around what does that mean for like vendor management of soft services. I wrote down, and I think you addressed some of these in some of the later questions and later in your slides of your workforce. So I believe it's your employees, correct? You don't utilize a contractor workforce, but that was something.
So we self-perform in janitorial, but we will provide us a whole solution for somebody that includes janitorial, security, snow, ice, pest control, which are soft services.
Okay.
And we can do that as a unified front, and you would have one point of contact who happens to be diverse. But we do it through our vendor management. We self-perform janitorial because that's our core business.
Got it. And then I don't remember seeing, I know that you mentioned that you serve the life sciences industry. I don't know if whether or not you can put, if you have permission to put any client logos, but if you could, it may be helpful to have, or to touch on like the clients that you serve today, and maybe some successful case studies or success stories that you've had with, bigger corporate clients. I always like to see that personally. And then lastly, we didn't get to go to this, but I was really interested in seeing and I think you had that toward the end, the sustainability piece. So
Yes.
I think you may have mentioned, stuff around like clean chemicals, stuff like that. That's something that I'm, and I think more companies are like leaning more into, more of your offerings around that. Any contribution to true zero waste, like Boston Scientific, we have a true zero waste certification. So that's something that we vet and make sure that our suppliers are adhering to before we bring on as well. So I would have loved to see that. Maybe that was just me, but I would have loved to see that a little bit earlier so I could have really understood your value piece around that.
So I think what I can do is kind of tighten up the culture and that part up, and reduce those number of slides and talking points, bring in the client the sustainability, the services. Yeah, because we do have those values that we can, and those opportunities that we can present to our clients and partner with.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, great information. Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Welcome.
judges. That was great feedback. And thank you so much again, Kathleen. Great job. Next up, we have Cyrus from Ravetna Architects. So Cyrus, whenever you're ready, you can take over screen sharing.
Okay, great. Actually, most of my pitches are done without slides, even though architecture is a visual industry. So I'm going to do it without slides and just then at the end of the presentation show a couple of my pictures of my work.
Sounds good. You can get started whenever you're ready, and I will get my timer started.
Thank you very much. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cyrus Ravetna from Ravetna Architects. Thanks to the organization for inviting me to give a pitch today. I appreciate the time and opportunity. I am the principal and founder of Ravetna Architects. I'm going to start out by talking a little bit about myself, then talking a little bit about what architects do, because a lot of people don't really understand what our industry is all about. And then I'm going to jump into what my firm is all about. So a little bit about myself. I'm pretty sure that my mother and father had me pegged as an architect from the time I was born. One of my first and earliest memories is being stuck between a fiberglass bathtub and a wall on a construction site at the age of around 5. My father was an engineer, but he built buildings as a hobby. So I was pretty much on construction sites from the time I was born. And my mother was a artist, so she was very artistic, and my father was an engineer, so very mechanical. In grade school, my woodshop project was not to build or to carve a little salt shaker like other classmates of mine, but I actually built a scale model of a house. I milled every single 2x4 and every single joist and every piece of plywood, and I framed an actual house in grade school. When other kids were going to baseball camp and swimming camp, I went to architecture camp. So it was pretty much bred into me that I was going to be an architect from day one. To nobody's surprise, I studied architecture and graduated from the U of I, and then went on to do my master's degree at LTU in Detroit. I worked for various architecture firms in the city of Chicago and other places. And where I did most of my learning, though, was when I had the opportunity to work for a very well-known architect. His name was B.V. Doshi. He was the Pritzker Prize winner of architecture. That's like the Nobel Prize of architecture. He won that in 2018. And what I learned from him was that every single project, whether it's big or small, can be made unique and interesting. So no matter what the project was, it was an opportunity to investigate and to learn. I started Ravetna Architects in 2005 with a computer and a kitchen table. So a little bit about what architects do. We work with clients to first design their buildings and spaces. We figure out the floor plans and elevations. We then coordinate with all the engineers to create a set of drawings which are used to construct the project. We pull permits, we hire contractors, we select interior finishes, and then during construction, we're on site to make sure that everything gets built according to our drawings and specifications. And what I love about architecture is that it's all about happiness. We're creating beautiful spaces and beautiful places for people to live and to inhabit. Now, a little bit about my architecture firm. Back to that kitchen table, I started with just myself and a computer. I've now built the business into a multi-million-dollar business, employing about 10 people. We're located in the Bridgeport Art Center in Chicago, which is a super cool loft building. I'm licensed in between myself and my associates, we're licensed in over 25 states. We're MBE, DBE, and one of only 2 architecture firms that are LGBT certified in the state of Illinois. And we truly believe that everyone deserves great architecture. Our and that goes for our smallest project, which is a tiny little basement remodeling. And one of our largest projects right now is the new construction of 52 affordable housing units, which when it's built in Chicago will be the most energy efficient new construction building in the city of Chicago. Our clients are homeowners, business owners, municipalities, and developers. And our projects are both commercial and residential, with about 80% in Chicago and just about 20% throughout the rest of the United States. And now I'm going to share a couple of pictures of our projects. This is that affordable housing unit I talked about, 52 units. We work with some businesses. These are some offices that we've designed.
30 seconds.
Our clients are also restaurants. So these are a couple of restaurants we've designed. Retail, I don't know if anyone knows the super awesome On Running shoes. This is the retail store that we designed here in Chicago. This is their flagship store. Swarovski, it's sugar. Our clients are religious organizations. Homeowners, these are some of the projects we've done, single family homeowners. Lake houses, this is a fantastic project we're building on the Gulf of Mexico. Loft owners, these are some of our condo projects. And our clients are diverse, so we take projects that start like this and they end up looking like this.
Thank you so
And
much,
that's
Cyrus.
a little bit about us. So thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Great job. I'm going to turn it over to our judges for their feedback. Sandy, do you want to start us off this time?
Sure, I'm happy to. Cyrus, great job. Really, I really enjoyed that. I love that you started out with your personal story. I just found it to be very engaging, and it really drew me in to learn a little bit about you and your family too. So thanks for all that you shared. I think that's great. The idea of, I think you said creating happiness. I love that. It's the why behind what you do. And it's kind of like, well, who doesn't want to buy into that? The idea of creating happiness. So I think that's a great element. I love the versatility that you spoke about, the range from the room in the basement all the way to the Chicago project, the commercial through the residential. It allowed me to, see myself or my business doing business with you. So I think that's a great talking point. And then segueing into the illustrations that really showcase the diversity of your work. So I think it was a great presentation and appropriately sized. Certainly if you had an hour with an audience, I imagine you'd build out kind of those 3 segments of the story, but really well done. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Christina?
Excuse me. Hi, Cyrus. Great job.
Hi.
I also really loved how you started off with, your kind of the why, your family, your childhood, your passion around building things. I really liked that. And I really liked that it came across very authentic. So I thought that was a good way to start. I noticed when you started talking about your capabilities, your eye contact had went away. Your eye contact, you were looking at the screen when you were talking about at the beginning, your personal story and the photos. So I think if you could just maybe keep that in mind going in the future. And it seemed like a little bit like you were reading off a little bit. So maybe it's a matter of like just putting the notes up higher. But I just noticed that. And yeah, I love the photos. I wonder if it may be even more helpful to have the photos and when you're talking about the different diversity of clients that you serve today in your projects. But I also liked I guess it doesn't really matter, but I really liked the photos. I thought that kind of speaks volumes on the magnitude of work that you're capable of. So nice job.
Thanks.
Thank you, Christina. And Adam?
Yeah, great job, Cyrus. I thought it was really well done. I agree with Christina and Sandy's feedback as well. I definitely, I would have liked to see more of the photos. I don't know if they could maybe be running maybe while you're kind of giving your story, but I definitely wanted to hear your story as well, and would also love to see like a photo of the house you built as a kid. That'd be kind of interesting to see if you have a photo.
No, I wish I had one. I don't.
It would be an interesting one to have in there. But I think having a lot of the photos of the work, maybe kind of going through while you're talking a little bit, might give people some context about the types of projects that you work on. Because it was really interesting at the end to kind of see. I know it's only 5 minutes, so just a limited amount you can do. My other comment, and I don't know exactly who you would normally be pitching your business to, but I appreciated kind of learning more like exactly what an architect does. I've not worked with an architect myself, but you may want to think about maybe taking that out if it's someone who is in the business a lot. They may not want to hear that part of the section if they're obviously comfortable with what architects do, and then you can spend more time on showing your work, which all looks amazing. Right? But I think that's pretty much all my feedback. Really, really good job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges. Thanks for that feedback. Thank you again, Cyrus. That was a great pitch. Now next we have Sam from Pickles Bodega. So Sam, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and start sharing your screen. You can get started whenever you're ready.
Okay. Let's do this guy. All right, awesome sauce. Am I on?
You're on.
Okay, cool. Hi everyone. I am going to start with my our business mission statement, which is having a purpose-driven full circle business is the best way to build a community-focused, sustainable future. And I'm Sam. My my parents were both chefs growing up, so I totally get you, Cyrus, with just being engulfed in everything since a very small child. I've been just in food my whole life, either being with my grandmother in the kitchen or being out on site with my dad doing caterings when I was 8 years old. I didn't get to go into food right away because my dad was a chef and was pretty scared that I was going to go in the kitchens and just get annihilated by all like the monstrous men in there or something. And so I waited and I did hair and I did art of all kinds. And then I said, you know what, I am just going to cook. And so I started cooking and I started making a career for myself, and I got diagnosed with celiac disease. So I needed to make a little bit of a a twist when it came to the foods that I would provide for people. So I started my own company called Pickles Farm Food, which is my catering company, and I would like to move that into Pickles Bodega. Start with I live in Arizona, and we have a lot of allergy related illnesses out here when it comes to like the dust and the wind and all the crazy grasses and trees out here. And there's just a lot of different dietary restrictions that are along with those regular environmental restrictions that are just causing everybody to kind of just be sick all the time. So I try to manage my entire business through gluten-free. I'm going to move this over. I'm sorry, everybody. All my words are on the other side of the page and I'm trying to read it. So I'm hungry. In the Valley here in Phoenix, there is only one gluten-free restaurant, and they're only open from breakfast and lunch. They are the only ones that do delivery. There are a couple of vegan restaurants, but they are not gluten-free. And then there's some gluten-free bakers that might sell at the weekend in farmers markets. But there's no real place here in Phoenix to be able to get gluten-free delivered, or even if just to go stop by and get a gluten-free meal anywhere, especially one that may be vegan as well. So I am launching Pickles Bodega. We're going to align ourselves with produce farmers, bread makers, cheese producers, and other small businesses in the area to fill the bodega with a daily farmers market. We're going to tap into the delivery markets, filling that need for an establishment featuring both gluten-free and vegan options. We are your neighborhood bodega that sells meals to go for busy professionals and families looking for allergy-conscious and locally produced options for their meals. All the food will be gluten-free with the option of a vegan replacement. Every menu item will be seasonally appropriate and sourced locally. We will offer a grab-and-go option for meals and midweek grocery pickups. My inspiration for everything is art, really, and living a wholesome existence with your diet. Making beautiful dishes for the world has always been my dream. So being able to share my dream with passion to others, I stimulate a conversation about whole life nutrition. I've always wanted to create a community for everyone to feel included and appreciated. And so I decided the best way to make this impact is by not only having a restaurant, but also a co-op bodega, offering a safe place for on-the-job training while serving the community with locally sourced products. Currently, I have a catering business called Pickles Farm Food, and I'm working towards a brick and mortar for the community. By obtaining funding, I'll be able to begin marketing and making connections in the nonprofit sector. As a survivor of domestic violence, I can attest to the difficulties of processing trauma while being a part of the workforce. My goal is to provide a work training facility that will be a safe haven for victims who have been isolated and abused. a place where not only they will learn new skills, but will be provided with an opportunity to be a business owner in the process, using only locally sourced products for food preparation, as well as selling locally made items in our bodega. The opportunities to make new connections with other businesses guarantees the program will be everlasting.
30 seconds.
Thank you. The bodega layout will follow the same traditional layout that's been filling cities for 100 years. And we are hoping that we will be able to provide actual on-the-job training and encouraging the application of a more inclusive and allergy-friendly mindset in the food and beverage industry, harking to the diet of our ancestors. And thank you. This is me, all of my businesses, and then here are all of my certifications and everything that I've completed. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. Great job. You really came right in at the 0-second mark, which is,
Yeah.
we love to see it.
I've been practicing all morning. I was like, how fast can I talk?
5 minutes is not a lot of time.
No, thank you.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to our judges here in just a second. Christina, do you want to start us off this time?
Yeah, sure. Samantha, great job. I'm like hungry now, actually, after seeing your presentation. I thought, I can tell you're very creative, artistic. I thought your graphics, your photos, the way your fonts, they come and flow really nicely. So from a presentation standpoint, it looks really nice. I especially really liked that you started with the side-by-side photo of yourself as a child and your current picture. And really, I think your mission, your the data that you provided around celiac disease and all the different food allergies, that's really powerful data. And I really liked that you provided that. My only feedback would be just to try to be more concise in your slides. So if there's a way to bullet or maybe leverage logos more, like you did in the last slide, you listed out all the different certifications that you had. You could use that in the form of bullets or logos. But yeah, amazing mission, especially with, hearing about like the domestic violence and the trauma and the services that are offered for that. So really nice, nice job. Nice mission too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. Adam, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, great job, Samantha. I thought it was really good. I really like the mission and just the idea itself. My husband's family is full of celiac, so I'm familiar with the troubles of having to try to find a place to go out to eat is very difficult. You have gluten-free things on the menu, but if there's not a gluten-free there can be problems. So I totally get that, and I love that you're trying to bring that to the Phoenix area. I think, yeah, I agree with Christina's feedback. I would try to maybe limit some of the text on the PowerPoints. I think I love the kind of the feel of it and the vibe of it, but I found myself trying to kind of read it all, and in 5 minutes, it's just not enough time for all of that. And otherwise, I think generally I know you seem like you have like a lot of ideas for what you want to do with it. 5 minutes is a really hard time, so I would try to maybe condense it to just maybe talk about maybe some aspects of it in a shorter pitch. And if you have a longer
pitch, my original one was like 19 slides, so I got it down to 9. And my other one, I really had a lot of emphasis on on the domestic violence program and stuff like that, and going through the workplace education where they can get certified in allergy certification or a manager certification, and partner with a local union and get a job either in one of the major hotels downtown that are unionized, or obviously stay within the co-op and build their own business. I need to find a way to shorten that, but also explain all of that.
That was going to be my next question. I wasn't exactly sure. Are you hiring them to work in your bodega, or are you just helping them set up businesses when you can sell?
So it'd be like a workplace program where they have the opportunity once they're done and through the program to participate in the co-op, be an owner of the company, or they could go off and get a job at the hotels, or they can start their own business by meeting other people. But initially, I'd like to work with like a nonprofit or a couple nonprofits when it comes to, either them sending over, the victims that need workplace training, and, an 8-week program or a 4-week program, and kind of work through that way, while also keeping it full circle by having the artists in the area and the farmers and the producers of all those things be really filling the marketplace, so it kind of goes and turns around. So I'm not going to be a millionaire, but but I will be consistent, I hope, and keeping the cycle going, and educating the community not only on domestic violence, but allergens in the world of people and eating, and just updating all of us.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important. It's so tough to get it all in 5 minutes because it's
Yeah.
so much going on. So I would, yeah, you might have to maybe do different pitches, focusing on different aspects of it.
Yeah, that's what I want to
'Cause
do.
it's so tough to do it all. The only other thing, just putting my like legal hat on with the selling other people's gluten-free products, would you be kind of like doing like a site visit to their like production facility to make sure it's gluten-free, or
Yeah, so
just, you want to be a little careful with that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. So there's one bakery, and they are certified. They allow nothing else in there, because what I've noticed is the other bakeries, yeah, they still sell regular stuff. So it's like they're not really going to be helping. So there's one bakery that makes a lot of bread. So I'm going to see if I can contract, bread making, really get the load off of me, so I'm not doing majority of the work, and maybe even bring in the pastry chefs that are making gluten-free, as long as they're certified kitchens and stuff like that. But definitely local people who are producing those items that are in safe kitchens is what I'd like to have there, so that way obviously they can get bigger too, and my word gets out more.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, yeah, that was my feedback. I think it was a really good job.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam. Go ahead, Sandy.
Thanks, Carly. Sam, thanks so much for what you shared. You're clearly passionate about your craft and your product and your mission. So thanks for all that you shared. I just kind of my experience listening to your pitch or going through your pitch right up front. I think on the first slide, you shared a mission, but you hit that slide really quick. And the mission is like a little bit long, and I started to read it again because I was like, okay, I want to understand her mission. And then it was gone.
Yeah.
You were on to the next slide. I started to connect back in with you on the I'm hungry slide. I'm like, okay, I'm tracking. I get where she's going. But I was still a little confused. And then we got to the pickles bodega slide, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm so just for me, maybe I'm a slow burner, but it took me a while to like get traction with what you were trying to take me through. So that happened. But then you went into this like art as inspiration, and that kind of like threw me again. And I'm going to have a moment of vulnerability with this entire audience. I thought I knew what a bodega was. And then we got to the art slide, and I'm like, maybe I don't know what a bodega is. So I Googled it, and I actually didn't know what it was. I thought it was something else. I won't tell you what I thought it was, but now I know what it is. So that's on me. But then you showed another mission slide, which had, I think, a different mission on it. So anyways, that was just like my experience through the pitch was one of kind of confusion, bouncing around, but it was rooted in my naivete about what a bodega is. So for whatever that's worth, again, I think you're super passionate. I love what you're trying to do. I think there's clearly a huge need out there, but again, for me, it goes back to like that story arc.
And what Adam was saying, maybe I should do different slides. I was wondering if I should just do a bodega one, and then do my mission of the domestic violence training program. And then, I don't know how to mesh them together somehow without it being obviously a lot of steps and everything.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll figure it out. I think the elements are all incredible, and it's just like kind of sequencing and connection. So you'll be great.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Sandy and judges. That was some great feedback. And thank you so much, Samantha. That was a really great presentation. And I personally am gluten-free and have celiac as well. So if I am ever in the area, I'm stopping by. All right, last but not least, we have Sergey from Outpost Club. So Sergey, if you want to start sharing your screen whenever you're ready, I will get my timer ready on my side.
Hello, everybody. Do you see my slides?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sergey. I'm immigrant myself. I came with my husband in US in 2017, and we started this business together. And so I'll tell you about Outpost co-living. So what is co-living? And basically, co-living is the affordable way to live together as a roommates, and we do that as a management company. So we offer a housing service that is convenient and economically efficient for young renters. We furnish the apartments, we pay for all the utilities, we match the roommates, and we manage all of that. For the landlords, it's also bringing some additional revenue on if they rent out their properties to young renters, roommates, students, etc. But we put a brand of it and we manage all aspects of it. So Outpost, we started the company in 2016, and currently we manage 52 properties in a co-living manner. It's about 1.2 million square feet, and we provide constant NOI increase for the owners, and we have a very good occupancy, and we have about 1,500 tenants in New York. So here I wanted to show you some examples of co-living, how our properties look like. So we try to combine like some very nice common spaces, provide nice facilities to all the our roommates. So basically, the idea is that if you sacrifice some personal space on a level of living with the roommates, you need to have enough common areas and space, to spread out and to do your job or do you meet your friends and spend time together. And the community aspect is very, very important for all the co-living properties we manage and we build. So what actually we do? We work as the property management and brokerage firm. We do the pre-launch for the properties where we do all the kind of analysis and we support with architecture, design, and improvements. And we do day-to-day management. So basically from starting from the brokerage, when we find and match roommates and screen them, to management, where we do all kinds of compliance, regulatory, maintenance, etc., to the financial reporting to the banks and to the owners. Why it's important or why it's cool to put a brand on your building. So as I told you before, a very big and important topic is to do a great vibe inside the property. So that comes together with a few things that we manage or eliminate. We eliminate all the friction between the roommates, some small stuff like some shared supplies and some utilities, etc. Then we provide a safe and secure and supportive place for people. We have all kinds of people. We're very friendly, and in terms of how we select tenants, how we match them, and how we manage their experience inside the properties. It's also an affordable and transparent way that we do business, so everybody knows exactly what they're paying for, how much they're paying for, etc. And also we curate the lifestyle and events in every property that we manage. So it's people love us. They always, you can check out our website, outpost-club.com. You can check out our Instagram for the examples of different events and stuff like that. So how it works for the owners. Basically, here is an example for you. On the left side, you see the two one-bedroom apartments. On the right side, you see two one-bedroom apartments combined together with 4 bedrooms. So basically, we provide more space for more people, and the economic benefit for the owners is about 30% higher income that they get, but also the tenants have like the ability to get something in a city in a price range between $1,000 and $2,000. So other benefits, if you compare us with some other ways to find roommates, like through Airbnb, through room finders, through traditional rent. So we do the consistent guest experience, and we provide affordable option and community and co-working spaces. And it's thoughtfully designed, and we have flexibility and different benefits. So this is the last slide. This is our team. Currently, I have about 72 people working for Outpost, and I welcome all of you to check out our Instagram page. Outpost co-living, and text or write me if you have any property that you want to check about if it works with co-living. And thanks for the opportunity to talk here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergey. I will turn it over to our judges now for some feedback. All right, so this time we'll start with Adam.
Thank you, Carly. Yeah, Sergey, that was good. That was really interesting. I'm not super familiar with kind of the real estate space, so some of this went, I think, a little bit over my head. So I guess it depends on who you're talking to for these pitches. Like on some of the first couple slides, I had NOI on there a lot. I'm, again, not familiar with the industry, so I wasn't sure what that kind of meant. And I guess a clarifying question for me, you're like the property management company for these buildings.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
showed like the side by side with the two, like a two 1-bedroom units versus what you guys do. Do you all do the construction to convert the buildings as well, or do you?
No, we don't do construction, but we do consultancy. So we come and say that, for example, in your property, it's possible to do co-living or not. And we have designers who do the preliminary like drawings, but we don't do any construction. The owner does.
Okay, but you could like connect them with someone to help.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense now. Yeah, I just think I had some questions on that, but I think that maybe just because I'm just not super familiar with the industry, and you're talking to some people who obviously know it a bit better. But I thought it was really interesting. It seems like a good idea. It's like definitely the money seems to add up there, brings in more money, you have more units, and I do think a lot of people like a co-living situation that's a little bit easier. Do you mostly target like towards like university students or like younger adults generally?
Students, interns, young people, Gen Zers, everybody between 20 and 35 years old.
Yeah.
When we moved in US, we lived like that with my husband and some friends, and then we decided, why don't we try to make a business out of it, and it started to fly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I think it was a good job. I said it's really interesting. It's an interesting model, so good job.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Adam. Sandy?
Thank you. Thanks, Sergey. Great stuff. And the product and the service seems really attractive to me. Similar to Adam, I'm not very familiar with the space, but as you were taking us through it, I thought it was pretty cool and pretty attractive. At first, I felt like it was a little bit of an investor pitch. And then I thought, okay, no, maybe this is more of a renter pitch. And then we round around to, I think it maybe is an owner pitch. So I wasn't clear on, and maybe your pitch changes depending on who the audience is. Like today, we're obviously, judges and colleagues, but it was unclear on who you were pitching. I really like the deck though. I found the slides and the aesthetic to be really clean and crisp. So that's great. Particularly liked the revenue potential slide and the benefit slide. Those two were I thought really crisp. But I think it's an exciting category and, best to you. And I think you might be really well positioned.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sandy. Christina?
Hey, Sergey, I think this is an excellent, I love the concept. And to be transparent, I'm also not very versed in real estate, but a couple questions. So is this actively running in New York City today? Or where is it?
Well, yeah, we are working in New York City. We have one property in DC, and we have something in New Jersey upcoming.
Okay. Yeah, I thought of this, I wish this was around when I was in my little studio apartment in San Francisco, because I think it's an excellent option for, young professionals. So I like that.
Yeah.
I like that you have, the data around the cost analysis for both the benefit to the renters, but also the owners as well. I was curious, I wrote down a note, how would this, do we know how much this would generally compare in cost to a dorm? So how you can kind of.
We're twice cheaper than dorms. So the bed in dorms costs about $2,500 a month if it's I don't know, NYU or something. And we have options between $1,000 and $2,000 for the bedroom. So it's cheaper than in dorms.
Okay, nice. Yeah, and I liked that, I thought your presentation itself, I liked that it was concise. strong bullets. I could just glance at the slide and I knew I wasn't reading. Yeah, and I also like the photos because when you started, and you talked about affordable housing, I thought it wouldn't be very nice, but your photos and like the co-living spaces what looked very nice and clean and very attractive. So yeah, I thought it was great. I think there would be a lot of potential like in Boston too, since there's a lot of there's so many universities here, and I know that they're even like leasing space in local hotels because they don't have enough dorms for students. So I'd much rather live there than in a hotel as a student.
We're thinking about Boston, yes.
Yeah.
It's a great city for that. And again, we're trying to make it as good for renters as possible. So no shortcuts, no cost savings, because landlords want to do everything very, cheap, fast, but we try to push for, to make it really cool and vibe wise and design wise and community wise. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Christina.
And thank you, judges. And thank you again, Sergey. That was a great presentation. And before I let our judges go, I'm going to turn it back to them one more time as we go over some closing thoughts. So I'll turn to each of you and just see if you have any closing thoughts for our presenters as a whole or anything else that you want to say to wrap us up here on the pitch side of things. So Sandy, I will start with you.
Thanks again, Carly. This has been a wonderful experience, and I so appreciate the opportunity to engage with everyone and to be a judge. I'm truly inspired by each of you. Like, you're clearly passionate about your craft and your service, and you're going after it with great intention. And, it takes a lot of rigor and resilience. So I just really applaud that and encourage you to just continue to keep going. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Sandy. Christina.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to Carly for inviting me and including me. And thank you to, all the brave members that went through and gave their pitch. I mean, it's, I know what they say, it's helpful for you, but it's also very inspiring for myself. And it's just really great to see your passion and just really kind of pursuing your dreams and your business dreams as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Christina and Adam.
Yeah, I just think everyone did a fantastic job. I know it's not easy to get up and pitch, especially on Zoom. I think it's a lot easier to do it like in person to pitch your company. So I think everyone did a really good job going through everything. I end up pitching for Jura Solutions sometimes, and I know it's not easy. So, congrats, you're done. You got through it. And I hope, our feedback kind of helped a little bit on this. It was really enlightening for me to kind of hear the different companies. I think they're all really good companies. So best of luck to everyone, with their endeavors there.
Thank you so much again, judges. We really appreciate your feedback and thank you for being here. And before we close out, we have another 30 minutes to do some community and conversation. So this is going to involve a little bit of speed networking. So we'll have a few different breakout group sessions where you'll each have a chance to introduce yourselves and your company and answer the prompt on the slide, go off topic if you want to. Each session will be about 10 minutes long, and then we'll come back into the main room before starting the next session. So we're going to kick off a little bit of speed networking with the first round. So please go ahead and share your name and pronouns and your company and role. And then share one event or activation that you're looking forward to during Pride Month. So we're going to get those breakout sessions set up in just a second. And once that pops up, you can just click to join your group.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, Mariama, we are in breakout rooms right now doing some speed networking. So I will move you into one of the breakout rooms.
Hold on one second. I'm aware of that.
Oh.
Wanted to ask you if you could delete or boot out of Zoom the cat's note taker, because
Yes.
was in the room that I was in. Can you tell me what room that was?
Yeah, that was room 3.
Okay, can you put me back into room 3?
Yes, and then I will boot out the note taker.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Yes, thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think if you want to go ahead and click the breakout rooms button on the bottom toolbar, I think you can join it.
Okay,
I think I
excellent.
can only move you out of room 3.
Thanks a lot, Carly. Have a good
Yeah,
one.
no problem. Lily, do you know how to fix this? I'm trying to move the note taker into the main room so I can remove them, but it's like not letting me.
I just tried and it just doesn't move.
Same here. Hang on. This is annoying.
She's gonna get back and be like, why didn't they remove it?
I know, I'm trying. Maybe you have to join the room to do it? Like maybe if I join the room.
I will join.
Okay.
A.
Yay, that worked.
Yep. I really want to figure out a way we can use that app again that we used yesterday.
Yeah, that was fun. I liked that.
Yeah.
We can probably stop recording, right?
Oh yeah, we definitely can.
I kicked them out.
Thank you.
Yup.